At Kedalion, we're a venture-backed clinical stage topical ophthalmology company based in Menlo Park, California. The company was founded about 2 years ago, and in that time we've been focused on developing a technology to transform the way drugs are delivered to the front of the eye. So we'll get into a little bit more detail later about eye drops and the trials and tribulations there, but we've been developing a system that we call AccuStream, which enables precise and accurate dosing of drug to the front of the eye, and this applies to just about any drug. With a proprietary technology, we're able to meter the dose in a precise amount and in a lower amount than with typical medications, and we're able to accurately place it on the surface of the eye in order to get it where it needs to go with a reduction in side effects. So we've done 2 phase 1 clinical studies, which I'll talk about later. In both of those studies, we delivered 70% less drug than eye drops, and we saw substantial increases in comfort and substantial reductions in side effects. Our technology, then what we've been working on over the couple of years, is something that has a very, very low cost of goods, and it's developed to be suitable for traditional pharmaceutical manufacturing processes, so it'll fit seamlessly into a typical supply chain. Now, of course, I mean, eye drops, everybody knows about eye drops. They've been around for decades. Patients dislike them very strongly. They deliver a very large excess of drug in every single drop. There's a host of publications that show everything that patients do wrong with eye drops every time in terms of non-compliance, just simply missing. We've got some studies that we've done with patients, and we've seen the eye drops bounce off the surface of the eye, all kinds of things. So there's a huge unmet need here as far as being able to get drugs to the front of the eye in a better way. And with our technology, we've developed a system that can do that. So here's an animation that will show the simplicity of the technology here. So a patient will just grab it in their hands, they'll open the slider, just like taking off the cap of an eyedropper, but instead of craning their neck backwards, they'll just sit straight and look at the system, use our proprietary aiming technology to deliver the drug right to the front of the eye. And again, it's a small, precise dose, much smaller than what's in an eye drop. And once done, they'll close the system in order to maintain the sterility over the use of the product. As I mentioned, we run 2 phase 1 clinical studies. The first was in mydriasis. We had 40 eyes, 20 patients enrolled. This is a single dose, single day acute treatment study. And we showed with a 9 microliter dose from our system versus a 30 microliter dose from eye drops, we achieved comparable efficacy over a 3-hour period compared to eye drops. And again, we had 50% fewer AE reports in that study, and on a separate assessment of comfort on a visual assessment scale, we saw a 50% increase in comfort. Similarly, we took latanoprost into a center with glaucoma patients. We studied, again, 9 microliter dose of latanoprost with our system and a 30 microliter dose of latanoprost with eye drops. Same outcome. You'll look at the bars and see better IOP reduction with our system, but not statistically significant, but still kind of proves the point that we can get what we need to get with a much, much lower dose of drug, as long as we can meter the dose precisely and get it to the right place on the surface of the eye. So where we are as a company in terms of stage now, we've raised some early stage money, and we've leveraged that efficiently to initially screen technologies. As I mentioned before, we've identified a technology that's low cost and suitable for traditional pharmaceutical manufacturing processes. We've developed that through to the phase 1 prototype that we took into the clinic. We've run the 2 clinical studies, and now we're in the process of raising a second round of Series A funding to move us into phase 2, to establish a phase 2 development stage version of the technology, set up a GMP supply, and conduct 1 or 2 phase 2 studies. Beyond that, in about a year from now, we expect to have the phase 2 data in hand, and we would anticipate either further fundraising or strategic discussions with potential partners. We've got a great team with a depth of experience in a range of areas that are applicable to what we're doing, both ophthalmology, drug delivery, and microfluidics. Mark Blumenkrantz, serial entrepreneur ophthalmologist, he's in the audience today. He's one of our founders. Ehud Ivry, who's not here today, is our co-founder. He's He's a genius in the field of microfluidics and has done this many times, and it's thanks to Ehu that we're able to do what we can do with the precision and low cost that we're able to do it. I myself have been in the drug delivery space for about 20 years now in various therapeutic areas, and we've got a great team of folks in medical devices, med tech, and ophthalmology supporting us from clinical, regulatory, marketing, everything. And that's it. That's Kedalion, the snapshot of Kedalion. We're working as hard as we can to get our novel technology into the hands of patients as quickly as possible. Thank you very much.